Order, honorable members. Honorable Fenichate. Let me begin on a humble note of piety and thank the God Almighty for this day and find solace in the books of 1 Thessalonians 5, verse 18. Give thanks in all circumstances. And Psalm 104, enter his gates with thanksgiving. And Colossians 3:15, and be thankful. Honourable members, exactly one year ago, on November 7th, 2024, following the historic general elections of October 30th, 2024, I stood before this august House, humbled yet resolute, to accept the profound responsibility you entrusted in me as Speaker of the National Assembly, the 10th Speaker of the National Assembly. I had the honor of succeeding a well-respected and accomplished statesman, the Right Honorable Pandu Tombola Chahas Kelemane SC, and I was elected as the sole nominee for this pivotal role. In my acceptance speech on that momentous day, I extended my heartfelt congratulations to the President, Advocate Duma Gideon Boko, and his party on their electoral victory, and indeed to all political parties for their hard-won electoral gains. I spoke then of Botswana's vibrant democracy having truly passed the Huntington test, a testament to our maturity as a democracy. Whilst we prided ourselves as the only country in the sub-Saharan region to have maintained an uninterrupted and impeccable record of multi-party democratic dispensation, we had this one blemish of a de facto one-party state. And this blemish was obliterated last year in October. Honourable members, democracy, fundamentally defined as rule by the people, finds its most eloquent expression in Abraham Lincoln's formulation. I believe this was in Gettysburg: a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. In practice, since unanimity among citizens is rarely achievable, democracy operates through majority rule with universal adult suffrage, the principle of one person, one vote, serving as the widely accepted mechanism for constituting governments and representative democracies. The essence of democratic governance extends beyond mere electoral process. It encompasses several critical principles: that rulers must not only be elected by the people, but remain removable by them or their representatives. Leaders must be accountable to those they govern. They must act in the interest of the ruled, and all citizens should participate in shaping public policy. These objectives are realized through free, fair, transparent, and credible elections, the cornerstone of legitimate democratic authority. Democracy has earned its position as the preferred system of governance because, unlike alternatives, undemocratic alternatives that African people have resoundingly rejected according to surveys, including the recent Afrobarometer one, democracy nearly achieves fundamental values essential to human dignity and social progress. These include political equality, liberty, moral self-development, the common interest, fair moral compromise, binding decisions that consider everyone's interest, social utility, satisfaction of wants, and efficient decision-making process. Democracy is not just freedom to criticize the government or head of state, or to hold parliamentary elections. The true democracy obtains only when the people, women, men, young people, children, have the ability to change the system of industrial capitalism that has oppressed them since the earliest days of slavery, a system based on class division, patriarchy, and military might, a hierarchical system that subjugates people merely because they are born poor or female or dark-skinned. This is a quotation from Nawal el-Sadawi. And as Nick Morgan says, parliamentary sovereignty, the right to pass laws as the supreme legal authority, in the land, including laws that limit the powers of the executive, has been hard-won over hundreds of years. We trample on it at our peril. Now, on the new government and parliamentary composition. Honourable members, the 13th Parliament comprises 69 members of Parliament, including the Speaker and the President. However, the composition reveals both continuity and concerning trends in our democratic representation. The current Parliament includes only 6 female MPs, representing 8.95% of the total membership, a decline from the 9 female MPs who constituted 11% of the 12th Parliament. And this has created problems in that the women's voice is not audible enough in our House, in committees of Parliament, in interparliamentary bodies. Just last week, no female MP was available to participate in the SADC Parliamentary Forum, and we had to find solace in being represented by the Parliamentary Council because we have a limited number of women. And when they are busy with other official duties, we encounter problems. Now, this percentage decrease is a blemish in women's representation and represents a step backward in our journey towards gender equity in political leadership. And one of the current membership, 21 are retaining MPs, 20 male and 1 female, indicating a significant turnover from the previous Parliament, and consequently 46 first-time MPs, that is 41 male and 5 female, now serve in this chamber, underscoring the urgent need for intensified capacity-building initiatives. Now, despite these challenges, we remain firmly committed to building a Parliament that is strong, effective, and truly accountable to Botswana. As August Winston Churchill, former British Prime Minister, eloquently stated, Parliament is the workshop of democracy. That workshop must remain open, vibrant, and responsive to the people's needs. This institution serves as the heartbeat of our democracy, and its strength directly reflects the vitality of our nation. We, as members of Parliament, should ensure that democracy is adequately supplied because our citizens demand it. Honourable members, as part of our continued efforts to enhance the legislative process and deepen parliamentary democracy, we intend to ensure that all statutory instruments drafts are scrutinized by the Committee on Subsidiary Legislation before they are adopted by Parliament. So I employ all ministers. Before you present statutory instruments in Parliament, they have to go straight to the chairman of the Committee on Subsidiary Legislation before they are tabled in Parliament for scrutiny. Furthermore, all bills and policies shall be thoroughly examined by the 11 parliamentary committees prior to their presentation to the House. This will not only improve the quality of our laws and policies, but also reinforce our oversight function. We also seek to strengthen public participation in the lawmaking process by allowing members of the public, civil society, to engage in committee hearings dealing with bills and policies. This participatory approach will enrich debate, promote transparency, and ensure that the voice of the people resonates within this chamber. Now, the vision of transforming Parliament into a high-performing institution. Honourable members, our vision is to transform the Parliament of Botswana into a high-performing institution capable of meeting the evolving demands of our society and the world. This transformation will be achieved through strengthening institutional capacity and elevating Parliament's independence. The current leadership is dedicated to comprehensive reform that ensures our legislative body remains responsive to contemporary challenges while upholding democratic principles. A crucial step in this transformation has been the equitable distribution of committee membership among all parties represented in the House, ensuring that diverse political voices contribute to legislative oversight and development. Our long-term vision, what you call our North Star, encompasses 8 strategic pillars that will guide Parliament's transformation. Pillar number 1, capacity building for MPs and staff. Recognizing that a strong Parliament requires well-equipped legislators and support staff, we are committed to continuous professional development and skills enhancement for both MPs and staff. In this regard, we intend to introduce online learning opportunities such as the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association Academy courses and other relevant digital programs. These initiatives will provide flexible and accessible platforms for continuous learning, ensuring that both MPs and staff remain globally competitive and informed on emerging parliamentary best practices. On Pillar 2, innovation and diversification of funding streams. We know that we are at a point where we are experiencing fiscal challenges. And as Parliament, we cannot just fold our arms. We intend to achieve financial sustainability, and this requires creative approaches to resource mobilization and strategic partnerships that reduce dependence on single funding sources. For this reason, we have recently held strategic partnership dialogue with potential partners who can assist us in various ways. You would know that we held a workshop in Johnny in which no single tebe was drawn from the public purse. So we continue with the trainings that many MPs have benefited from with zero tebe spent by this Parliament. And on Pillar 3, embracing a performance-driven ethos, we are cultivating a culture of excellence, accountability, and result-oriented service delivery throughout the institution. And on Pillar 4, environmental, social, and governance strategy. And I'm glad that Mother of the House is here, our chairperson of our steering committee on climate parliament. I thought you would be attending the COP in Brazil, but I know she was also in Tanzania observing elections. Now, our commitment to sustainability includes significantly reducing Parliament's carbon footprint through modern, efficient digital practices that minimize environmental impact while enhancing operational efficiency. We intend to do our carbon audits, we intend to green our Parliament, and we intend to go paperless. So gradually in the next session, honorable members, we will gradually reduce paper until we have completely moved to paperless. Now, on Pillar 5, capturing and preserving parliamentary history, we are documenting our rich legislative heritage, creating opportunities to generate revenue through heritage tourism initiatives while preserving institutional memory for future generations. And I'm glad that Honorable Muluti, Minister of Environment and Tourism, has been magnanimous enough to include Parliament on the route of the city tourism route. Our Parliament must tell a story. You go to other parliaments in the world, they tell a story. When you enter our Parliament, you don't have to be told that Daniel D.K. Kwalahobe is by thus far has been the longest serving member of Parliament. Parliament heritage, as you walk through the corridors, it should tell you that story. It should tell you that Kenneth Koma has been the longest serving leader of opposition, that the first leader of opposition was P.G. Matante. All these stories, they must be told by this heritage that we seek to embark on. And on Pillar 6, continuous monitoring and evaluation, there is a need for regular assessment of our legislative and oversight functions to ensure accountability and to enable evidence-based improvements to our processes and outcomes. And on Pillar 7, public awareness and access to Parliament. We need to democratize access to parliamentary proceedings and enhancing civic education to strengthen the connection between citizens and their representatives. And on Pillar 8, advancement of women, youth, and differently abled people. I learned this terminology from the leader of opposition. So now I no longer use the politically incorrect. It's differently abled people. We need to promote inclusive representation and participation to ensure that Parliament reflects the full diversity of our society. And to further professionalize our legislative function, we also propose, and we are in discussions, to establish a fully fledged legal office within Parliament, staffed with full-time legislative drafters. This office will provide in-house legal drafting expertise, ensure timely preparation of especially private members' bills. And as you know, in the last 12 months, we never had any private members' bill presented in the House, primarily because of the acute shortage. We currently don't have a single drafter in the PC's office, and we have shortage of drafters in the drafting division in the Attorney General's chambers. So, but we are in discussions to have these officers, and we'll be facilitating you, honorable members, on these private members' bills to also deal with statutory instruments and strengthen the quality and precision of our legislative outputs. Finally, in keeping with democratic values of freedom of expression and assembly, it is our intention, and we know that Parliament is a protected area. It is our intention, after discussing and looking at the ordinances and other niceties, to have Parliament Square as a designated protest zone, a safe and lawful space where citizens may assemble, protest, petition, and picket peacefully. This initiative reflects our commitment to open democracy and reinforces Parliament as the true people's house. These pillars collectively aim to enhance Botswana's governance, peace, and security outcomes, positioning our nation as a model of democratic excellence in Africa and beyond. On the challenges, it has not been a rosy road. It's been bumpy. Honourable members, the National Assembly is currently facing legacy issues and systemic challenges. And the first one is obviously parliamentary independence. Limited capacity in the passing of laws, scrutiny on the national budget, the need for the budget office, and inadequate consultation with civil society organizations, which I have mentioned how we intend to address it. On limited resources, equipment, financial and human capital, we'll mitigate that through our strategic partnerships. Limited opportunities for staff, growth and professional development, impacting retention and capacity building. This has led to inadequate skills, knowledge and technical expertise, and has over the years hindered the creativity and modernization efforts. Inadequate integration of performance monitoring and evaluation, M&E, such as planning, budgeting, absence of standard operating procedures. And we have been introducing these standard operating procedures, guiding manuals and frameworks. Inadequate ICT infrastructure and systems. Currently, Parliament is using obsolete and performance-compromising systems for the recording of Parliament proceedings. There is also a need for the upgrading of existing systems and acquisition of additional systems such as legislative tracking tools, institutional repository mechanisms, and an intranet facility. And on gender equality, limited inclusion of women remains a challenge in Parliament, which makes gender equality central to ensuring that formulation, adoption, and implementation of policies, strategies, and programs are undertaken in an inclusive manner. Facilities inadequacies. Parliament facilities are old, dilapidated, and are therefore not sufficient to accommodate your activities as MPs, your meetings, seminars, press conferences, hence the need for expansion and continuous renovation to maintain a higher asset value. These constraints have significantly limited our ability to adapt, innovate, and effectively manage the transformation required for institutional excellence. And this calls for the initiation of a clear strategic framework, dedicated change management capacity, and robust strategic partner collaboration. Now, on the milestones, progress towards our vision. Honourable members, over the past 12 months, our collective efforts have been firmly directed towards tackling these challenges. Several significant milestones demonstrate our commitment to institutional transformation. Capacitating MPs and staff. Understanding that legislative excellence begins with capable legislators, we have conducted 5 focused training sessions to induct MPs on parliamentary processes. These include training on the budgetary process, capacity building for the Public Accounts Committee and other committees with a finance and economics related mandate, training on pre- and post-legislative scrutiny. I believe this was with the help of Interpare. Capacity building on legislative matters, the Constitution and standing orders, and the recent seminar on National Development Plan 12 for MPs. Now, through strategic partnerships, we have facilitated fully sponsored international and regional missions for MPs and staff, including leadership training through the International Visitors Leadership Program, IVLP, in the United States. I believe Honorable Lekau, you were there with Honorable Barungwang, Honorable yourself, and strong man, Frenzel was also there, Honorable Furniture and Honorable Kaiser. They participated in the IVLP in the United States. These experiences have provided invaluable opportunities for experiential learning, benchmarking against global models, absorbing best practices, and developing critical competencies, all made possible by the generosity of our local and international strategic partners. We now have a team in China. Honorable Frenzel and others will be leaving. Those that are in China right now include Honorable Pule, Honorable Hikwama, Honorable Kaiser, and Honorable Maribe Mpomorolo. Now, honourable members, we have embarked on a comprehensive change management process, beginning with, and I must also mention that they are with staff members, I think 15 of them. And our target is that we will train, I think, up to 80 to 100 members of staff in these short trainings abroad. We have embarked on a comprehensive change management process, beginning with a strategy aimed at enhancing the efficiency of systems and processes within the Botswana Parliament. Consultations with the Botswana Bureau of Standards are underway with a view to acquiring ISO 9001 accreditation and certification for Parliament and all its operations, including the legislative process itself. The new leadership has exploited several low-hanging fruits by developing standard operating procedures, mapping processes, reviewing systems and implementing tracking tools, checklists, roadmaps, accountability matrices, and dashboards. Additionally, specialized task forces have been established to improve organizational efficiency and ensure timely task execution. On operational improvements, and on this particular one, honorable members, you know about processing your questions, getting your answers at least within 24 to 48 hours. A member should know whether their question on agency has been approved or not, whether their motion on agency has been approved or not, rather than waiting for a week or two and then be told that your motion cannot go through. These are some of the things that we are trying to address, honorable members. And operational improvements. We have laid solid foundations and achieved notable results in strengthening parliamentary operations. Key accomplishments include the monumental resourcing of critical offices, the Office of the Speaker with the Director in the Speaker's Office, Executive Support, Deputy Speaker, the Assistant Director in the Deputy Speaker's Office, Executive Support, and Leader of Opposition, Assistant Director, Office of the Leader of Opposition, Executive Support, by the recruitment of staff to provide essential support for their executive functions. For many years, Parliament has been faced with the challenge of movement movement of staff across different cadres. Now, after much engagement, we have succeeded in appointing 32 employees across all cadres, from A to E scale, further strengthening our institutional capacity. Some are new appointments, some were promotions, some were confirmations of temporary into permanent, and so on and so forth. So we managed to deal with 32 positions in the last 12 months. All members, I'm happy to inform you that our efforts to secure a separate buyer, the Supreme Procurement Adjudication Officer for Parliament, has borne fruit. With the allocation of a separate buyer, we expect that this will greatly enhance the speed and efficiency of our procurement processes. On resource mobilization and strategic partnerships, recognizing that sustainable transformation requires diverse partnerships, we are actively cultivating stronger relations with our partners. Ongoing and planned actions include bilateral engagements, targeted portfolio committee engagements, and vital interparliamentary exchange programs. Significantly, our first strategic partner dialogue took place on September 25, 2025. And this landmark event marked a crucial step toward securing financial support and building robust relationships with strategic partners, including civil society organizations whose contributions are paramount to our democracy's health and vitality. Some of the early fruits of these engagements are that we have initiated processes to sign bilateral memoranda of understanding with the Interparliamentary Union and Commonwealth Parliamentary Association to guide the collaboration, technical and other assistance to be provided. Honourable members, notwithstanding all of the notable milestones highlighted above, as Parliament we continue to charge on with the hope to attain our North Star, being a high-performing institution. Some of the futuristic aspirations aimed at strengthening parliamentary governance, autonomy and ethics include the hope to improve Parliament's independence through the promulgation of a Parliament Act, which will pave way for the formation of Parliamentary Services Commission. Similarly, Parliament's autonomy will further be enhanced by the establishment of a Parliamentary Budget Office to improve financial oversight and scrutiny over the budget by members of Parliament. Honourable members, we also substantively hope to establish and capacitate the Office of the Leader of Opposition as part of Parliament's transformative agenda. During my tenure as Speaker, I also hope to facilitate the review of the standing orders through the Standing Orders Reform Committee, which will ensure that our standing orders remain relevant and up to date with international standards, and thereby improving the overall efficiency of the House. We need to further democratize the debates in the House through the reform of these standing orders and remove hurdles. And I must say that I'm in discussions with the President regarding a possibility of amendment to the standing order so that he answers questions in Parliament. He has indicated willingness to do so. So we need to discuss the modalities given his usual busy schedule. So it's something that we are in discussions with, and I'm sure you have noted with his frequent coming to debate in Parliament that he's always ready to engage with you. Honourable members, as noted above, Parliament inherited legacy structural challenges which have necessitated the need for an overall review of the organizational structure. It is therefore our aspiration to review our organizational structure to align it with our vision and North Star. This process will help clarify roles and responsibilities, improve efficiency and adaptability, and enhance communication and decision-making. Additionally, Parliament aspires to improve its heritage management to take advantage of the rich natural history of our democracy and Parliament for ourselves and future generations. In the words of Cesar Zakham, our environment is our heritage and we must preserve it. In the same vein, our Parliament is our pride and we must preserve it. To this end, we aspire to construct a parliamentary museum that will be a sanctuary of our heritage. With this museum, we hope to ensure that a visit to the parliamentary precinct immerses one in the deep and meaningful journey towards an understanding of our parliamentary traditions. Honourable members, another key goal for Parliament is to deepen oversight, participation and democratic consolidation through the convening of a symposium, such as the Latimer Dialogues, scheduled for the 26th to the 28th November 2025, colloquiums such as the Constitutional Review Engagement for MPs, which will be held on the 17th to the 19th November 2025. We also intend to convey a commemorative conference on the role of Parliament in our democracy to mark not only the 60 years existence of our Parliament, or 60 years since the establishment of the Legislative Council, but also 60 years of the existence of our post-independent Parliament. It is our wish to publish the resolutions and papers presented at such colloquiums and make them into a book. In any democracy, public institutions such as Parliament must be transparent and accountable to the electorate. Accordingly, in order to reinforce the direct link between the citizens and the elected representatives, we hope to establish a fully fledged parliamentary TV channel and radio channel. Equally, Parliament will continue to build institutional capacity through capacity building initiatives for staff and MPs. This will enhance the ability of Parliament to perform its core functions of legislating, and indeed, in accordance with Section 86, legislating for the peace, order, and good government of Botswana. This will enhance the ability of Parliament to perform its core function of legislating, oversight, and representation with the required expertise. In this regard, we have registered some key milestones over the last year, where we have sent unprecedented numbers of MPs, members of Marara, and staff for capacity building programs in the US, China, and India. Well-capacitated members will ultimately strengthen the quality of our processes with the hope to acquire Botswana Bureau of Standard ISO 9001 certification and accreditation for parliamentary processes and procedures. Honourable members, as you all know, Botswana is experiencing a financial downturn, which has warranted that public institutions come up with inventive ways of staying afloat. With this realization, Parliament hopes to open a Parliament souvenir shop. Benkele. Run a fully fledged parliamentary cafeteria and lounge, a gymnasium for MPs and staff funded through membership subscriptions. In conclusion, as I conclude, honourable members, I wish to emphasize that we can all overcome all these challenges and attain all these aspirations if we walk this journey together with the sole intention of contributing to the continuous improvement of our governance processes, the strengthening of our institutional capacity, the deepening of our democratic culture, and the attainment of democratic consolidation. As Nelson Mandela has indicated, it always seemed impossible until it is done. As I conclude, honourable members, I wish to emphasize that we can all overcome these challenges and attain our aspirations if we work this journey together with the sole intention of contributing to the continuous improvement of our government processes and strengthening our institutional capacity and deepening our democratic culture and the attainment of democratic consolidation. And yet, we must remain conscious of the cautious words of John MacDonald, who once remarked, you can change the world through the parliamentary system. His provocation invites us not to despair, but to recommit to ensure that our parliamentary efforts are not merely procedural, but transformative in spirit and substance. And on that note, honourable members, I thank you for your kind attention as we journey together into the second session of the 13th Parliament. Ke a leboga, Parliament.